And when I first became a father 4.5 years ago, I began to process of thinking about the way I'd been brought up.
He's the future king, but his story goes far beyond crowns and castles. Prince William has quietly transformed the role of royalty, balancing duty with compassion, tradition with change. From family rifts and public pressure to military missions and his wife's health battle, his journey is more complex than headlines suggest.
Our aim was to find solutions to repair our planet and provide real hope for the future. We want to make this the decade in which we transform the world for good.
What drives him behind palace walls? And how is he reshaping the monarchy from within? One of the most visible examples of this shift is the Homewards initiative, a 5-year program designed to help end homelessness in the UK. The project was launched by Prince William in 2023, but its roots stretch far back into his early exposure to social issues. William has long said that homelessness is a solvable problem, and his goal with Homewards is to create regional models that prove just that. Each region selected for the initiative brings together local councils, charities, housing providers, and people with lived experience to co-develop solutions tailored to their community. During a speech in London, William made it clear he sees this as a personal mission. He said, "Why else would I be doing this if not to help people?" It's a simple question, but one that reflects his current approach to royal duty, not just representing the crown, but using its reach to influence public policy and bring attention to long-standing challenges. Of course, not everyone agrees with his position. Critics have pointed out the irony in a prince who controls vast estates and multiple residences campaigning on housing issues. William, through the Duchy of Cornwall, receives income that exceeds £20 million a year. Skeptics have questioned whether someone from such a background can truly understand what it means to be homeless. But supporters argue that the very reason he can make a difference is because of the platform he holds. One advocate from the homelessness charity, The Passage, which William has supported for years, said his involvement has brought attention and resources to the issue in a way few others could. The Homewards project is more than speeches and visits. Prince William has committed to using Duchy-owned land for housing developments, starting with a site in Nansleden, Cornwall. The first phase includes 24 homes, all of which will be built using profits from the estate rather than public funds. The homes are part of a housing-first model that aims to provide secure accommodation before tackling other challenges such as employment or mental health. William's involvement with the Duchy of Cornwall is central to his new royal role. Upon becoming the Prince of Wales following Queen Elizabeth II's passing in 2022, he also inherited the duchy, a portfolio of land and property covering more than 130,000 acres. But instead of managing it purely for profit, William has spoken about reshaping it for social good. In a previous documentary, he mentioned wanting to think more deeply about the legacy of the estate. He said, "I've started to think about how I will inherit the duchy one day and what I do with it. I think it's really important, the family angle." His comments moved King Charles to tears, as revealed in a rare emotional moment from the same documentary. That emotional connection between father and son has continued to show itself, especially as King Charles faces his own health struggles. Diagnosed with cancer in early 2024, Charles has stepped back from many public duties, relying more heavily on William. This subtle transition has been watched closely by royal observers. William has been seen more frequently at state events, diplomatic meetings, and official royal functions, quietly filling the gaps left by his father's reduced schedule. But alongside this increase in formal responsibilities, William has continued to show up in more everyday settings. In one memorable engagement, he visited Duchy College in Cornwall and participated in a simulated crime scene investigation with students studying protective services. The exercise involved dusting an abandoned car for fingerprints, a practical lesson in forensic science. William jumped in, using aluminium powder to reveal prints and asking detailed questions about the technique. Students were reportedly impressed by how engaged and enthusiastic he was. For them, it wasn't about meeting a royal. It was about working alongside someone who seemed genuinely interested in what they were doing. Later that day, William took time to meet students from a variety of disciplines, including those studying agriculture, business, and animal sciences. He visited the student-run cafe, where he chatted with young people honing their hospitality skills. The atmosphere was casual but energetic. Many students said they were surprised by how approachable he was. One even managed to snap a quick selfie with the prince, capturing a rare, informal moment. These types of visits have become more common in William's royal calendar. Rather than spending time solely at palaces or official venues, he's made an effort to get out into the communities connected to the duchy. For the prince, it's about seeing how things work on the ground and understanding how royal resources can be used more effectively. Robert Bosworth, principal of Duchy College, said the visit sent a strong message to students and staff alike. His interest in the college and what we do here shows he's thinking long-term, he said. It's more than just a photo opportunity. This reflects a broader shift in how William is perceived, not just as a figurehead, but as a leader trying to make meaningful change. The focus on young people, education, and community engagement is intentional. In recent years, William has often spoken about the importance of investing in the next generation. Whether it's through projects like the Earthshot Prize, which rewards environmental innovation, or through visits to local schools and training programs, his message has been consistent. The monarchy must have a purpose beyond ceremony. This belief is also shaping how he interacts with the public. William is often seen shaking hands, stopping for conversations, and listening to people's concerns. These moments aren't accidental. They're part of a broader effort to bring the royal family closer to the people it serves. At a time when public opinion about the monarchy is under constant scrutiny, William's personal style, measured, polite, and empathetic, appears to be resonating with many. His work with charities has also evolved. While he still supports long-standing organizations like Centerpoint and The Passage, he has been involved in modernizing their outreach and helping them access broader networks of support. At a recent Centerpoint Awards ceremony, William spent time with young people who had previously experienced homelessness. One of the award winners described how William listened attentively to her story and offered words of encouragement. She later said the encounter felt sincere and left her feeling seen. For years, William and Harry were seen as inseparable. Growing up in the shadow of royal tradition and the tragedy of their mother's death, their bond was something many admired. They were often portrayed as two brothers leaning on each other through an unusual and, at times, painful upbringing. After Princess Diana died in 1997, the sight of the young princes walking behind her coffin in silence became one of the most enduring images in modern royal history. That moment, witnessed by millions, didn't just symbolize grief, it highlighted the intensity of a relationship built on shared trauma. But as the years passed and adulthood brought different responsibilities, the closeness between the brothers began to shift. The biggest rupture came in 2020, when Harry and his wife Meghan Markle announced they would step back from royal duties and begin a new life overseas. The move, unprecedented in the modern monarchy, wasn't just a personal decision, it was a public statement. Interviews and a Netflix series followed, with Harry expressing deep frustrations about the institution he was born into, his mental health struggles, and what he called a lack of support from the firm. William, by contrast, remained silent. While Harry's words were broadcast globally, William chose not to respond publicly, sticking to royal protocol and letting his actions speak instead. One moment of departure came when he told a reporter, "We're very much not a racist family," after allegations of unconscious bias within the royal household were raised in Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah Winfrey. The statement was brief but significant, suggesting the personal toll of the situation was becoming harder to contain. Behind closed doors, the tension has reportedly been more pronounced. Royal biographers have pointed to long-standing differences in personality and expectations. According to author Tom Quinn, Harry always felt like he was in William's shadow, not just because William was the elder and future king, but because he was seen as more stable, more reliable. Harry, known for his emotional openness and unpredictability, found himself struggling to live up to the image that William seemed to step into naturally. Quinn also noted that Harry believed King Charles favored William from a young age. This belief, true or not, fed into years of simmering resentment. As Harry became increasingly vocal about his frustrations, the rift between the brothers widened. And while William never publicly criticized his brother, the silence itself spoke volumes. In a family built on symbolism, what's not said often carries as much weight as what is. Their paths now couldn't be more different. William, deeply embedded in royal duty, represents continuity. Harry, based in California, has become a vocal outsider, challenging many of the systems they were both raised within. But for King Charles, this divide is more than just a logistical challenge. It's deeply personal. As he faces his own health challenges, his desire to see his sons reconcile has reportedly grown stronger. Sources close to the palace have shared that Charles remains hopeful that the family can mend its wounds. After he was diagnosed with cancer in 2024, Harry flew back to the UK to visit him. The trip was short and did not include a meeting with William, but it showed that the ties, however strained, are not completely broken. One palace insider described the king as a man torn between pride in his heir and concern for his younger son. His hope, they said, is simple: that his family might come back together in time. William, in the meantime, has continued to step into a more senior role within the monarchy, particularly as his father reduces public engagements. While many would expect tension to grow in a situation where power is slowly being transferred, those close to the family say the relationship between William and Charles is one of mutual respect. William has acknowledged the weight of his future role and has spoken with admiration for his father's work on issues like the environment and sustainable agriculture. There was a moment captured in a documentary, filmed before Charles became king, where William reflected on what it meant to inherit the Duchy of Cornwall. Speaking with a second-generation farmer, he said, "I've started to think about how I will inherit the duchy one day and what I will do with it. I think it's really important, the family angle." Charles later revealed that the comment had moved him to tears. It was a rare insight into the emotional fabric that holds their relationship together, a shared sense of duty, but also a deep appreciation for legacy and lineage. This theme of legacy runs through much of William's life. As the heir to the throne, he carries the weight of expectation, but also the memory of a mother who challenged royal norms. Diana was known for her emotional honesty and her willingness to engage with the public in deeply human ways. William has taken a quieter, more strategic approach, but the influence of his mother is still clear in the issues he cares about, the way he interacts with people, and the causes he supports. Though he doesn't often speak about Diana publicly, there have been key moments where her absence has been acknowledged with quiet poignancy. During a speech in Scotland, William spoke of the country as being home to both his happiest and saddest memories. It was in Scotland that he learned of his mother's death, and it's in the landscape of Balmoral that he finds peace to this day. For both William and Harry, Diana's legacy remains personal and complex. While Harry has been more vocal about how her memory affects him, William seems to carry it more privately. His public work, particularly around mental health, reflects many of the same values that Diana championed: compassion, empathy, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. But he does so within the confines of royal tradition, never pushing too far, always staying within the boundaries of what's expected. The distance between William and Harry may not be permanent. Time, shared experience, and family moments, such as birthdays, christenings, or health challenges, could bring them back together. But for now, the two continue on separate paths. William, as the steady figure preparing to lead, and Harry, as the outspoken figure redefining his own role from afar. In 2006, William joined the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, following in the footsteps of many royals before him. It was an expected path, but he didn't take it lightly. William completed the same intense training as any other cadet, participating in tactical exercises, endurance drills, and leadership tasks. Those close to him say he was determined not to be seen as receiving special treatment. His goal wasn't just to meet the requirements, but to experience the job as any officer would. After completing his training, William was commissioned as an officer in the British Army. At one point, he expressed interest in deploying to Iraq alongside British troops during the height of military operations. However, senior defense officials advised against it, citing the high risk involved. William's presence, they argued, would make him a target and could endanger those serving alongside him. It was a frustrating but necessary decision, highlighting the tension between his desire to serve and the reality of his royal identity. Still, William's military career didn't stop there. He took on training placements across all three branches of the British Armed Forces: Army, Royal Navy, and Royal Air Force, gaining a broad understanding of the UK's military structure. In 2009, he trained as a helicopter pilot with the RAF and qualified to join the RAF Search and Rescue Force. For the next few years, he served as a co-pilot on rescue missions across the Welsh coast, based at RAF Valley in Anglesey. This period marked a unique time in William's life. Stationed away from the palace, he lived in a rented farmhouse with Catherine, who at the time was his fiancée. The couple lived a relatively low-key existence. Locals often spotted them at the local supermarket or walking their dog. These years gave William something few royals have had: a chance at a somewhat ordinary life, even if just briefly. Professionally, the job was demanding. William took part in more than 150 rescue operations, responding to emergency calls involving everything from stranded hikers to injured sailors. He's spoken in interviews about how meaningful the work was to him, how it gave him a sense of purpose that was immediate and real. For the people he helped during those missions, he wasn't a prince. He was simply the pilot who came to get them home safely. After completing his search and rescue work, William transitioned into a civilian role as a pilot for the East Anglian Air Ambulance from 2015 to 2017. This move surprised some observers, who expected him to begin taking on more full-time royal duties. But William made it clear that he wanted to continue contributing in a tangible way. Flying air ambulances meant working long shifts, including night duties, and dealing with some of the most intense medical emergencies in the region. Colleagues described him as quiet, focused, and professional. He didn't expect special treatment and integrated into the team like any other employee. He also saw, firsthand, the pressures faced by emergency workers, something he later spoke about when discussing the importance of mental health support. He has often said those years taught him how critical it is to care not only for people in crisis, but also for the people responding to those crises. These experiences played a major role in shaping William's views on public service. When he began to transition fully into royal duties, he carried those lessons with him. One of the clearest examples of this is his ongoing work in the area of mental health. In 2016, William, alongside Catherine and Prince Harry, launched Heads Together, a campaign aimed at ending the stigma around mental illness and encouraging open conversations. The campaign worked with a range of charities and used high-profile platforms, including the London Marathon, to promote mental well-being. It was one of the first times that senior royals had spoken publicly and candidly about their own mental health. William talked about the emotional toll of his rescue work and how bottling things up could affect not just individuals, but their families and communities. The Heads Together initiative later expanded into new projects like Shout, a free 24/7 mental health tech service, and the Mental Health at Work program. Through these efforts, William has consistently emphasized the importance of creating space for people to talk about what they're going through, especially in workplaces and schools. Rather than treating mental health as a side issue, he has argued it should be viewed as central to overall well-being. In 2020, William launched one of his most ambitious projects to date, the Earthshot Prize. Inspired by John F. Kennedy's Moonshot Challenge, Earthshot aims to find and fund solutions to the planet's biggest environmental problems. The idea is simple. Each year, 5 winners receive £1 million each to scale their innovations in areas like clean energy, ecosystem restoration, and waste reduction. The prize is intended to run for 10 years, awarding 50 projects in total. The first awards ceremony took place in 2021, and since then, the initiative has gained global attention, drawing support from scientists, entrepreneurs, and environmental leaders. For William, it's a personal mission rooted in his father's lifelong commitment to sustainability. But it's also a clear statement about the kind of future he wants to build as king, a future that prioritizes the planet and human survival. Publicly, William has spoken often about the urgency of the climate crisis. He's acknowledged that the monarchy has to adapt, that it must have a role in supporting science, innovation, and global cooperation. Through Earthshot, he's not just endorsing those values, he's putting them into action. And by focusing on scalable, science-based solutions, the project reflects his belief in long-term impact rather than temporary headlines. Throughout all of this, William's style has remained consistent. He rarely makes dramatic statements or seeks attention. Instead, he prefers to build trust slowly, through commitment, presence, and continuity. Those who work closely with him often describe him as thoughtful, well-prepared, and focused on results. His speeches are rarely flashy, but they are usually carefully worded and grounded in practical goals. He's also aware of the unique role he occupies. Unlike elected officials, he doesn't campaign or promise policies, but he does influence public conversation by choosing where to focus attention and by helping elevate issues that might otherwise struggle for visibility. Whether it's young people's mental health, veterans' support, or climate change, William appears determined to use his platform in a way that's strategic, measured, and deeply informed by his own experiences. At this point in his life, Prince William represents more than just the continuity of the monarchy. He symbolizes a changing approach to royal service, one that blends tradition with active, real-world engagement. His military background gave him discipline and perspective. His years as a rescue pilot taught him the value of teamwork and urgency. And his current projects suggest a man who understands the weight of his future, but who is still grounded in the present. William met Kate Middleton while they were both students at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. He had initially enrolled to study art history, but later switched to geography. Kate was also pursuing a degree in art history. What began as a friendship slowly developed into a relationship, mostly away from public view. By the time their relationship became public knowledge, they had already built a foundation of shared experience and mutual respect. Their engagement was announced in 2010, and they married the following year in a ceremony watched by millions around the world. The wedding at Westminster Abbey marked not only a new chapter in royal history, but also a moment of national unity, celebrated with street parties and public gatherings across the UK. Yet despite the grandeur of the occasion, the couple remained calm and composed, setting the tone for how they would carry out their public life in the years ahead. Since then, William and Kate have become symbols of a modern, relatable royal family. They've raised 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, with a strong emphasis on stability and privacy. The children attend local schools and participate in activities that are familiar to many families, from school sports days to weekend outings. William and Kate have made it clear they want their children to grow up with as much normality as their unique situation allows. Parenting has become a defining part of their public image. Both William and Kate frequently speak about the joys and challenges of raising a family, and they often use their experiences as parents to inform their public work. Kate, in particular, has focused much of her advocacy on early childhood development, arguing that the first 5 years of life are critical in shaping emotional well-being, education outcomes, and future success. She has helped launch initiatives through the Royal Foundation focused on supporting families, caregivers, and educators, and has convened experts to promote research and awareness around early years care. Her work has been praised for its thoroughness and consistency, and she is often credited with helping shift the royal family's focus toward long-term, evidence-based public service. Outside of her early years' work, Kate has also maintained a quiet but visible passion for the arts. With a background in art history, she regularly attends gallery openings, exhibitions, and museum events. She's known to make private visits to art institutions, often early in the morning to avoid public attention. On more than one occasion, visitors have been surprised to find the Princess of Wales quietly admiring a new installation or chatting with curators about specific pieces. Kate is also an accomplished photographer. Many of the official photos of her children released to mark birthdays or milestones have been taken by her. These images tend to have a personal, informal feel, offering the public a glimpse into family life without the need for staged media moments. It's part of the couple's broader approach to public engagement. Keep it authentic, keep it personal, and protect what matters most. That approach was tested in early 2024 when Kate was diagnosed with cancer. The news came as a shock to many, especially given how active she had been in public engagements just months prior. Kensington Palace released a carefully worded statement asking for privacy as Kate began a course of preventive chemotherapy. For several months, she stepped back entirely from public duties to focus on recovery and family. William also scaled back his appearances during this time, choosing to stay close to home and support his wife. The couple were rarely seen in public, and speculation about Kate's health grew in the absence of updates. It wasn't until Trooping the Colour, a major annual military event in London, that Kate made her return to the public eye. Her appearance, elegant but reserved, was seen as a powerful statement of resilience. Observers noted the warm exchange of glances between William and Kate during the event. It wasn't staged or scripted, but it spoke volumes. After months of private struggle, they were re-emerging as a team, facing the public again together. For many, it was a moment that transcended royal protocol. It was a reminder that even those at the highest levels of public life are not immune to personal hardship. Following her return, Kate slowly began resuming royal duties, but with a reduced schedule and a cautious approach. She has been involved in strategic meetings at Windsor Castle, particularly around the relaunch of her early years initiatives. She also began preparations for the next Royal Carols, Together at Christmas event, which she has hosted in recent years at Westminster Abbey. The event is set to carry special emotional weight given the challenges she and her family have faced. One of the more personal moments in this period came when William and Kate made a private trip to Scotland to visit King Charles and Queen Camilla at the royal estate near Balmoral. The visit was described as low-key and family-oriented, but also meaningful. Both Kate and Charles had been undergoing treatment for cancer, and the shared experience created a new emotional link between them. Royal commentators noted that the trip showed just how important family time had become for the royals, and how their personal relationships were playing a central role in their public life. Throughout this period, William remained steady, balancing his growing royal duties with his role as a husband and father. In speeches, he acknowledged the medical focus of recent months and thanked the public for their kind messages of support. He did not dwell on the details, choosing instead to express gratitude and keep the focus on the work ahead. At a charity event shortly after Kate's return, he said, "It's fair to say the past few weeks have had a rather medical focus, so I thought it would be refreshing to spend time with people doing something so positive." It was a subtle but effective way to address the situation, acknowledging reality while continuing forward. In many ways, the past year has brought William and Kate closer to the public. Their openness about health, their devotion to their children, and their willingness to step back when needed have all contributed to an image of a couple who understand the moment they're in. The British monarchy is in a period of transition, and the challenges it faces, both internal and external, are significant. But William and Kate's partnership remains one of its most stabilizing forces. They don't claim to have all the answers, but through steady leadership, quiet compassion, and a shared sense of purpose, they are helping to reshape the monarchy for a new era. Their story is one of modern love, family commitment, and personal strength in the face of public duty. And as they move forward, together, they carry with them not just the weight of tradition, but the hopes of a changing nation.